Welcome back to Lift You Up Inspiring Health Stories. I'm your host, Tamika Bickham. I'm the founder and chief storyteller of TB Media Group. But for the purpose of this podcast, I am your health and happiness matchmaker. Now, before I introduce you to today's guest, you know what I'm going to ask you to do. Hit subscribe on YouTube and go ahead and turn on those notifications, that little bell right there, and connect with me on LinkedIn. I'd love to stay connected with you. Now, today we're talking about holistic nutrition. Imagine this, not working out for a year, maybe even a year and a half, and not losing or not gaining any weight at all. Well, Jennifer Jones is talking about exactly how she did that through her holistic approach to nutrition and how she helps her clients do the same. Our physical, mental, and emotional health is not just a want, it is a need for happy lives and prosperous businesses. Lift You Up is the podcast where we share inspiring health stories from business owners who are fulfilling their purpose to live their healthiest lives and helping you do the same. From former TV reporter to marketing entrepreneur and content creator, I care about sharing stories that matter and stories that connect us. I'm your host, Tamika Bickham, your health and wellness matchmaker. Well, today I am so excited to meet for the first time, other than how we've met on LinkedIn and chatted there briefly, Jennifer Jones, who is the owner, founder, CEO of JENuine Nutrition. So nice to see you.
So nice to see you as well. And thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
No, thank you. Oh my gosh. And you're just glowing, by the way. So I know we're going to get some great tips on nutrition because it's obvious that you are just, glowing from the inside out. So I'm really excited for this conversation.
Thank you. Thank you.
But tell me a little bit more about JENuine Nutrition and what you do before we dive into your story.
Yeah, so JENuine Nutrition is a holistic nutrition and wellness company that really focuses on nutrition psychology and behavioral sciences to really, give my clients a transformative experience where we don't concentrate on calories, we don't concentrate on, macros, micros, diets, and all of that. It's really a holistic approach to healthy living. And it's helping you become your best self, through better health, naturally, naturally reducing your stress, balancing your hormones, and losing weight, even though my programs aren't like a weight loss program, but that's just an added bonus whenever you, go through one of my programs. So it's a holistic nutrition and wellness coaching company.
Holistic nutrition. I know that was something that stood out to me when I was, consuming your content on LinkedIn. And I was like, I feel like I haven't necessarily heard that term or know exactly what that means. So what does holistic nutrition mean?
Basically, what holistic means is derived from WHOL, because you can spell it HOLISTIC or WHOLISTIC. And when you look at it from that, spelling, the WH, it's looking at the whole of an individual, right? It's looking at your mind, body, and spirit, and how all of these things are interconnected. You can't separate one and address something like, the fitness and the conventional way of doing things, the traditional way.
So if I'm understanding that, conventional would then be say, hey, I'd like to lose weight, and then just focusing on doing cardio or running every day, just working out and not looking at the whole picture.
Right. If you're not looking at your sleeping patterns, if you're not looking at your stress levels, those all have an impact on your weight versus just what you're eating and how you're working out, because diet and exercise is not the answer. And unfortunately, that's the prescription that's been given forever. It's just like eat less, move more.
I want to understand more about you, Jennifer Jones, and how you ended up doing this. Kind of what was your path? I know we were just talking about, we have the Miami connection. She's calling in from Houston. So, but take me back to wherever you think is a good starting place that kind of fueled your passion and interest in what you do now.
Oh man, I mean, if that's the case, then we're going to go all the way back to when I was younger. So I've been an athlete my whole life, just to give you some context. Been an athlete my whole life. Basketball and volleyball were my main two sports. And then I went on to play volleyball collegiately. And that was really where the seed was planted for me, because my college coach, she would not allow us to have fast food or sodas during the season, because she understood the importance of, what you put into your body has impact on your performance on the court. After playing volleyball and after being, competitive my whole life, I still needed a way to compete. And since I wasn't playing anymore, I got into bodybuilding. And so for any of you guys
Me
that, yeah,
too.
okay, oh my gosh, this is so crazy. Yeah. So I competed for 4 years, qualifying for nationals. And during that time, I also started
Congrats.
personal training as well. And so that was when, before I even knew the term, what holistic meant, I was training my clients holistically, because me, myself, I was tired of doing 2 a days, restricting my calories, only eating broccoli, chicken, and asparagus, which is, that was, and sweet potatoes. I was like, there has to be a better way. Like, this is not how we should be living and, like, chasing and trying to lose weight this way, because it's obviously not working and it's miserable. Like, who wants to,
Oh,
like, I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? So I started studying and really diving in and doing a lot of extensive research, and getting to, again, what my intuition was leading me to. And it was confirming everything that I already, intuitively knew, which is, kind of the basis of my programs and everything anyway. And we'll get into that later. It's the intuitiveness, intentional, the living, because I wanted to change people's lives, not just from a physical aspect. And so that's why I really dived more into the nutrition and the holistic point, because physical well-being or your fitness is literally only one part of the equation. And it's part of my signature 4 pillars of health, but it's literally only 5%. There's more power and transformation, this way, versus just identifying and focusing on the working out component, which is so minimal, so minimal.
wow. So, where did this switch come? Because we were talking a little bit before this offline about doing the bodybuilding and kind of being in that life, also working with clients in Miami who kind of want that quick fix.
Yeah.
Was there a switch for you as you're going through this personally? Because I'm sure you felt that kind of rush that you get, and that satisfaction in a sense of like accomplishing something by
Mhm.
being on stage and placing or winning and kind of getting to that point. It's definitely a rewarding type of challenge to kind of
Yeah.
meet.
Yeah.
So what was it about either doing that or after that that said, hey, I don't want to stay on this path?
Yeah. So many. Oh my gosh, so many. So I saw the ins and outs of the business one. I didn't want to have to do X, Y, and Z to get to that next level. That just wasn't where my, like, naturally, right? Because, I wanted to do things, naturally. So while I was competing, I was, having my, I wanted to make a turkey sandwich. And so I was eating some lunch meat at the time. And then I put it on the stove to warm it up, because I'm making just a warm turkey sandwich. And I saw, my turkey turned blue. And I was like, these are chemicals. And I was kind of aware, a little bit, and moving into that more natural, eating and being, I've always been healthy. But when I saw those chemicals, and I knew that there was chemicals, but then to actually see it, I was like, whoa. So that was a whole, experience of itself. I was like, okay, I really got to buckle down on what I'm putting into my body, not the supplements, with bodybuilding, all of those crazy supplements that we're taking during that time, the chemicals in our food. And then also too, I had debilitating cycles, and I was trying to get to the root cause of that. And when I tell you I've been healthy my whole life, but to have debilitating cycles, I was trying to figure out, like, what's wrong here, right? Like, what's the common denominator? This is not healthy. There has to be a better way. What is the cause? And I took chicken out of my diet. I knew that it had to be diet, because I'm healthy. And once I took chicken out of my diet, then I didn't have any more symptoms. Yeah. And I healed myself naturally.
Yeah. And I mean, I can definitely relate to some of that. And it's funny because I've had a similar conversation with someone on this podcast. I want to say it was episode maybe 5 with John Lewis, who's been vegan for 25 years, but he grew up in the traditional South and, on that kind of Southern typical
Mhm.
diet, and was bodybuilding in his 20s, and then ended up having pretty severe autoimmune symptoms in his late 20s or close to 30. And then he ended up switching his diet, and all of that ended up reversing. And he ended up, kind of pursuing nutrition and education
Yep.
the rest of his life. And I mean, if you see him now, you would never think that he's in his 50s. Like, his skin is glowing and just
Yep.
really healing himself from the inside out. And we related over that story because I was like, I was a very heavy meat eater, and just the things I was taking in when I was doing bodybuilding. And probably around the same age as him, around 29, 30, I ended
Mhm.
up getting these very painful rashes
Mhm.
all over my body. And there was even a time, like, my knee was in so much pain with this rash that I couldn't walk.
Mhm.
And I was like, I've got to figure this out. Like, I had these, like, my eyes were burning, my hair was falling out, all of these crazy symptoms that, I'm not going to just attribute it all to food.
Mhm.
Um, but I think that was definitely a piece of it. But then when I look back at what was going on in life at that time, the
Yeah.
stress, the not sleeping, and just kind of the perfect storm of everything happened at once, that I just got so sick when I'd been a healthy person
Yeah.
my entire life. And I went totally, I mean, I probably went a little extreme at the time, but honestly, I never felt better. I went totally raw vegan and just
Mhm.
ate vegetables and fruits and just whole foods.
Mhm.
Um, and all of my symptoms reversed after I had been going to doctors for months telling me, okay, maybe you have lupus, or we don't now, we don't, we don't know what it is, or it's just some
Right.
kind of, they couldn't figure out what
Yeah.
it was. And I just looked for resources and information on food and how to reverse this naturally. Our bodies are powerful things.
Yeah. Yeah. They're powerful machines. I mean, we're not a machine, but when you just
Right.
think about the autonomous nervous system, um, the lymphatic system, and we don't got to get too scientific, but it's just like our body has a natural cleansing, healing process, and the body can heal itself of anything if given the space and the opportunity, right? And food is medicine. Food is medicine, like I always
Right.
say. And you know, you can heal yourself with food or you can kill yourself with food. Yeah.
Absolutely. So,
Yeah.
closing the loop there on your story, you study holistic nutrition, then you start incorporating that into what you do. You leave Miami, which you
Mm-hmm.
told me earlier, because you're like, hey, everyone, this is, kind of like another la la land over here, right? People just want the quick fix.
Yeah.
You can't really work with clients here in
Yeah.
the way that you are passionate about and really, want to. So you moved to where you are now, which is
Yeah.
Houston.
Yeah. I'm in Houston. So I just needed to rebrand and restructure my business and, position myself and put myself in an environment that was more open and willing to new approaches. Eating less and moving more is not the answer. Cardio is not the answer. You don't need to restrict your calories. You actually need to eat. Your body, think of your body as a vehicle because it is. And I use this analogy all the time. You wouldn't drive, like I wouldn't drive from here to Dallas without putting gas in my car,
Right.
right? So why would you go a day without putting gas in your car? And your gas is food. And the whole diet industry and diet culture has made it to where society is afraid of food when food is literally like what you need to survive. Yeah.
Mm. Do you think that part of it is too, though, people don't want to eat the things that we should eat because they're addicted to the things that we shouldn't eat?
Well, that's a whole nother story too, because they're addicted to them because of how the food is being made and produced
Right.
these days and manufactured. There's scientists and labs that are making creations to where you are addicted. So the potato chips, like you can't eat just one or whatever, like it's meant to be that way. It's a combination of salt or sugar, fat, and salt. Makes your mouth salivate and water and wanting more. So again, it goes deep and there's a lot into it. But if you were to eat, the better things for you, then you wouldn't want those kind of foods, right?
Absolutely right.
Yeah, yeah,
when
yeah.
I made that switch and went, whole food, plant based, and I've always had, the soft spot for pizza. I mean,
Hmm.
I'm not gonna say I don't eat pizza, but I didn't have.
And there's nothing wrong with pizza if you
No,
did, just so you
right.
know.
And I remember, I think it must have been 2 months, after maybe 2 months of just eating fruits, vegetables, whole foods, like, and I had pizza for the first time and I couldn't eat it. I was so turned off that, like, I don't know. There is a
Yeah,
couple things going on, but I was like, I can't eat this.
yeah. Your
I'm
taste
like,
buds
what's,
change.
yeah,
Yeah,
right. You have to give
and that's
your
natural.
body that time to
Yep,
let it change.
yep, exactly. Yep. But you have to remove those foods from your system. And here's the thing, like another point on that. We have a society where we're now dying of obesity when that's never really happened before. It's really been because of malnourishment, right? But when you think about it, the people that are obese, they're still malnourished because the foods that they're eating are not nutrient quality dense foods. So we have obesity plus malnourishment.
You got to Houston, you rebranded. This is your, holistic nutrition approach.
Yeah.
No quick fixes here. How did people end up finding you? What type of clients did you start working with?
So I moved here not knowing anybody, and I moved here never having living here before. Again, I
Wow.
just go off of, and that's the same thing when I moved to Miami. That's just in me, and that's just my personality, right? So yeah, moving here, not knowing anybody to rebrand and restructure my business from scratch, and
Wow.
literally just called my way to where I am right now. Working with gyms, partnering with them, and just getting my name out there. And it's funny because one of the first clients when I first moved here, I had told her, I was like, look, and this will be forever ingrained in me. And it's a pivotal point in my business too. She was so adamant about getting a meal plan. And I told her, I was like, I don't do meal plans. She wanted everything written out for her, told what to do and told what to eat. And she's like, Jennifer, I really want to join your program. She's like, but I kind of don't want to because I need a meal plan. I was like, no, you don't. You don't need a meal plan. I promise you, you don't need a meal plan. So she literally, and she was a mom of two, going through the motions, working out like crazy, restricting her food, not knowing what to eat. And so she became more clear about what she needed to eat. She had more clarity and then also more confidence in herself and her body, because that's what my programs literally do. It keeps things simple. It provides you the clarity and the confidence that you need to move forward in your life and in your body. So that's why I say becoming your best self through better health, right? Um, so that was a pivotal point for me, just personally in my business, because I stood my ground. Because could I have given her a meal plan? Of course, I've written some meal plans, right? But I knew that that was not what she needed, and that's not how I was doing my business, and that's not why I came to Houston. Was to do meal plans. I came to rebrand and restructure my business to change people's lives, which is what I'm doing. 2 months into her program, she's like, Jennifer, she's like, my body's telling me everything that it needs and I can hear and listen. I was like, see, I was like, you just got to give it space and you got to give it an opportunity to speak to you, because our body tells us everything that it needs. We are suppressing those signals. It's like knock, knock, knock. So when people are so like shocked that, something comes up, a chronic disease or illness, they're like, well, what? I don't know how Susie got X, Y, and Z. Well, headaches, bloat, gas. Like there's so many signs and signals that your body gives you, but and instead of listening and tuning into them, we suppress them.
For people who say, hey, I don't know what my body is telling me I need, how can they listen to themselves? How can you kind of tap into that part of yourself? that's
Yeah.
like, hey, I should be eating this today.
It takes work. It takes being still, right? It takes listening to your body and allowing space to be still so you can listen to your body signals. And that, includes meditation, that includes, reading, journaling, and all of those kind of things that people don't want to do to allow space for you to listen to your body.
Okay. Yeah, and like you said, people don't want to be still, but I think there is a greater awareness
Yes,
um, of that, and more people heading down that path because they're getting to some kind of. I think it tends to happen when people get to some kind of turning point
of
in
course.
their
Like
life,
that fork in the
life.
road or
Right.
something, like it's making it's making them address it. Like it's like in your face. It's like, are you gonna address this right now? Or are we gonna still shove this under the rug kind of thing, right? And so yeah, it's your body will at some point make you address it. Yeah.
For someone who's listening to this and is still kind of on the fence, okay, conventional diet and exercise versus this holistic route. Why is this really the right choice over conventional diet and exercise?
Because it's specific to you. It's specific to you, and what you need, Tamika, is totally different than what Jennifer needs. So you become more enlightened about things and you were like, oh wow. And you see the path that, the hamster wheel, the yo-yo dieting and all of that, how it's damaging and not sustainable. And so it takes a while to get that programming out of your mind and to learn new habits and form new habits. My programs have 100% success rate. I have to say that. Like it, and I say that very humbly because I'm just grateful to be on my client's journey. But it's 100% success rate where they leave with the tools and the skills and the knowledge to make this a lifestyle change.
I want to know for you what has been the most life changing thing that has happened, whether it's been on your personal journey and kind of changing the way you approach holistic nutrition in your own life, or it
Mm-hmm.
could be through your business. Has there been, I'm sure there's more than one, but what has been the most that you can identify and share life changing part of all of this process over these last years for you?
When I realize, like truly realize that food is medicine, like seriously, that's how I healed my cycles. When I tell you that I was literally good for 2 weeks out of the month, people will tell you it was like mean gin or nice gin. Like literally, it was. I had cramps, um, backaches, the hormonal fluctuations for 7 days, and a heavy, heavy, heavy flow for 7 days. When I tell you, literally, I'm not exaggerating, 2 weeks out of the month. When I realized that food is medicine, and I literally took chicken out of my diet and I had no more symptoms. But then when I put it back in, the symptoms came right back. I was like, the light bulb just went off. And that's when I knew what I put into my body affects me and I have control over that. Right. So if I want to, and the same thing, like I tell my clients, like if you're eating dairy and you're getting gas or being bloated afterwards, that's your body rejecting that.
Right.
So you have the power to take that away, and really not giving what your body is saying, I don't want that kind of thing, right? So when I realized that I have the power to heal my body through nutrition, girl, that was just like game changer, game changer, game changer. When I moved here, I didn't work out for a year and a half because my body, after playing sports my whole life, AAU, volleyball, basketball, bodybuilding, my body was tired. And I was like, I need to rest. And so I didn't work out for a year and a half. And I did not gain any weight or lose any weight. I was able to maintain my shape and figure for a year and a half. And when you hear about athletes who stop working out, you sometimes hear about, they're fluctuating and they gain a lot of weight. But I was living basically my programs, what they are now. And that's where my signature 4 pillars of health came from, which are intentional nutrition, lifestyle, stress management, self-care and awareness, and physical well-being. That is the recipe for me being able to maintain my shape and figure from all these years. And I didn't work out. That's why I say working out is only 5% of the equation. It's the other. And so that was another aha and life-changing moment, because that's allowed me to help change other people's lives.
How can people learn more about your programs, connect with you on social, online, YouTube, all the places?
Yeah, so I am actually taking a break from social media, the big social media, IG and Facebook. But you can find me on YouTube. I just relaunched my YouTube channel at JENuine Nutrition. So that's where I'm going to be mostly new video every week. You can also visit my website at www.JENuineNutrition, and that's genuine with a J. So it is JENUINE Nutrition. And you can also my program. So I do group programs now. So I have my 6-week program, 6 weeks to shaping your eating habits, and then also my 12-week program, which is the Love Yourself to Better Health. So the 6-week program is all about the nutrition component of my 12-week program, and then the 12-week program is all my signature 4 pillars of health, where it's more extensive. So if you're looking for a jump start, 6 weeks of shaping your eating habits would be great. And then if you're really, they're both transformational. So it really just depends on how much time that you're wanting to invest into it. But yeah, group programs, YouTube, and then LinkedIn at Jennifer Jones on LinkedIn, and then the website, JENuine Nutrition.
Awesome. I will make sure to link to all of that below in the show notes. Thank you, Jennifer. This has been really, really great. I appreciate you sharing your story.
Thank you so much to Tamika for having me. I really appreciate it, and hope your listeners enjoyed it as well.
I just love when I could sit down with somebody and you find all of these common themes, threads, connections. We are truly all like 1 or 2 degrees of separation away from one another. How funny that Jennifer and I connected just on LinkedIn and had all of these common themes between us, as well as connections. But you know how you find those things out? Through telling stories. That's the importance of it. And that's why we do it right here on this show. And also with all the work that I do with my team at TV Media Group. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed hearing Jennifer Jones's story. And if you want to learn more, go ahead below in the show notes. Find all of her information. Connect with her on LinkedIn. That's where I like to play too. So make sure you connect with me there. If you aren't already, hit subscribe on YouTube so that you don't miss any one of these episodes, which come out each and every week on Mondays. And also let me know what you think. Go ahead, leave a review on Apple Podcasts and let me know what you like, what you didn't like, what you want to hear more of. I want to give you more of what you want to hear right here on this show. So I'll see you back next week. But until then, stay happy, stay healthy.